Coming up here on Mountain News this morning, as Hurricane Ian continues to impact the state of Florida, eastern Kentuckians staying in the Sunshine State feel the effects of the storm. And Kentucky crews prepare to help the people of Florida recover and rebuild after the storm passes through.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. I'm Dakota Maker. 6 o'clock here on this Thursday. I can't believe it's already 6 o'clock. Man, all righty. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at our forecast. And if you're heading out the door this morning, maybe you got to get the bus or, I don't know, start the car before you head out this morning.
Exactly.
You know what? I need someone to come by and start my car each morning. Brandon, you want to do that?
Nope.
I'll give you the keys.
No. I think it'd be probably a better investment just to get your remote start put on it.
All right, well, it's, you know what, I could, but should have, would have, could have. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All right, it is a bit chilly out there this morning. We're seeing temperatures warmer than yesterday, though. Most spots in the 40s. Go to UVA-wise, and I can tell you right now, that is clouds. So it's zoomed in at a right angle there across that part of the sky. So I'd say it's cloudy out there this morning, and that's helped us to some degree keep our temperatures a little bit warmer. There are 3 spots, though, that didn't make that maybe out of the clouds just a little bit. 38 is the coldest spot in Irvin. 39, next coldest, Jonesville and Jacksboro this morning. So Southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, always a little bit cooler, and always Irvin a little bit cooler too. 50 on the other end of the scale in Logan. So grab your coffee this morning, get you going, get you warm as we head into your next dozen hours on the donut forecast. Another nice day out there. A few clouds around this morning, so it may look overcast, but no rain. That comes tomorrow as we continue to track Ian making its way toward our region. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. What is now Tropical Storm Ian is on the move this morning after leaving a path of destruction in southwest Florida. The storm trapped people in homes and flooded large parts of the region. The storm came ashore just west of Fort Myers with wind speeds high enough to make it one of the strongest hurricanes ever to hit the country. CBS's Christian Benavides reports from Orlando, Florida.
As Ian churns towards southwestern Florida, it's already showing its potential for destruction. On Tuesday, it ripped into western Cuba, killing at least 2 people and knocking out power to the entire country. In Key West, flooding soaked the streets, snapped this palm tree in half, and pushed high waters below this home.
This is going to likely make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. There will be catastrophic flooding and life-threatening storm surge on the Gulf Coast region.
Exactly where Ian will crash ashore remains uncertain. Some 2.5 million people in the region were ordered or advised to evacuate ahead of its Florida landfall expected for today.
We always use the adage, you can hide from the wind, but you need to run from that water.
Here in Tampa and across large parts of Florida, people are not only preparing for flooding and winds that could reach 130 miles per hour, but also for widespread power outages. Officials here warn it could take crews days to reach down lines after the storm passes.
Get a generator just in case we do have the hurricane.
Getting some sandbags and maybe some gas cans.
Meanwhile, Ian's outer bands are already likely to blame for spawning several suspected tornadoes that touched down in South Florida, toppling small planes at this Broward County airport. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Tampa, Florida.
In Collier County, where Naples is located, the Sheriff's Department said it was getting a significant number of calls of people trapped by water in their homes and that it would prioritize reaching people reporting life-threatening medical emergencies in deep water. Well, FEMA's workforce monitored the damage and impacts of Hurricane Ian across Florida yesterday. Workers at FEMA's National Response Coordination Center in Washington, D.C. are working with state and local officials across the Sunshine State as well as neighboring states. Resources are not only being moved into Florida, but also being staged in Alabama. Meals and clean water will be moved into Florida once it's safe to do so and Ian moves out. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says the government is doing what it can to help those who are affected.
Thus far, every request Florida has made of the federal government has been approved. The bipartisan government funding bill the Senate is on track to pass this week will ensure the Federal Disaster Relief Fund is fully resourced at this critical moment. We're all keeping the people of Florida at the forefront of our thoughts. We'll stand ready to help our colleagues from Florida, the governor, and local officials however we can.
Well, even people from our own region are feeling the impact of Ian. We talked with 2 Eastern Kentuckians who are in Florida right now and about how they prepared and what's next. Hazard First Baptist pastor Tim Reynolds is in Tampa Bay visiting family. He arrived there last Thursday.
And had no idea about a hurricane coming this way, and it seemed like on Friday or Saturday, they started reporting that it was heading directly for Tampa.
He tells me his family is prepared for Hurricane Ian, making sure their generator works and they have enough food.
But today, they've downgraded the storm for the area that we're in, probably looking at 8 inches of rain with 80-mile-per-hour winds.
Hazard native Teresa Barker lives in Fort Myers. She has lived there since 2003.
I got to experience Hurricane Charlie my first year I moved down here.
So she's no stranger to hurricanes. She says she has been listening to precautions from state and local leaders. For now, she's hunkering down, ready for anything.
You know, you want to go and make sure that you have enough water to last for several days without power. You want to make sure I had batteries in my flashlights.
She lives more inland. However, they will see a lot of heavy rain and wind from the storm. She says she feels the state is prepared.
Bring it on, Ian. Let's just do it and get it over with now, because we know that we have so many people coming from all different areas to help us get back.
She tells me she is prepared for at least 5 days if they lose power and water in her neighborhood. Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News. Well, we also heard from a Knox County viewer who is in Marco Island, Florida, which is just south of Fort Myers. She tells us she is staying at a hotel there, and the staff told her they have a backup generator and enough food to last 1 week. And I actually talked to her last night, and she said that they're hoping that they were able to charge their phones overnight. I'm hoping to hear back from her this morning. Kentucky utility crews are heading south, waiting to help with recovery efforts after Ian passes through Florida. More than 200 Kentucky utility team members left out before the sun even came up Wednesday morning, heading toward the Sunshine State. The crews will go to staging areas to wait as the storm moves across Florida. Then they will help put things back together.
Not only from here in Lexington, but from Danville, Richmond, Maysville, London, from Shelbyville, from all over central Kentucky and other parts.
Well, the cost of crews traveling to help out is paid for the host utilities in Florida. Remnants of the hurricane could move into eastern Kentucky this weekend. Well, here in eastern Kentucky, Wednesday marked 2 months since floodwaters ravaged communities throughout the region. Now, many families are on the road to recovery, but with a long journey ahead. Our Jordan Mullins talked with officials in Floyd and Knox counties about how far their communities have come.
2 months after historic flooding rocked communities in eastern Kentucky, many folks are well on the road to recovery. In Knox County, one of the hardest hit areas, many families are still cleaning up debris.
Different areas of the county are at different stages. There's a lot of people here in the city limits that are at the possibility of a rebuilding stage. There's some still at the stage of, debris removal.
In Floyd County, the Garrett and Wayland areas were among the worst affected, and many families have not yet returned to their homes.
We've got a lot of folks that are still displaced. We've got over 50 families that are still living in the lodge and cabins over there. We have folks in campers, not only at Dewey Lake, but at Mine-Made Park in Knox County.
Along with the physical losses, officials fear psychological repercussions may come as well, including PTSD.
They have lost loved ones. They've lost all of their belongings. They've lost their livelihood, people that are self-employed. They've lost their homes. They have nothing to return to.
With a long road ahead, officials say it is important to stick together.
If we don't support each other, we're not going to get anything. I mean, there's strength in numbers, and we understand that. We stick together, and we don't always agree on everything, but at the end of the day, I tell folks, we don't have to agree on everything.
Helping your neighbors and lifting them up in a time of need. Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Hyman Mayor Tracy Neese says when a disaster like this strikes, city limits and county lines disappear, and people have been quick to help, but families are still in need across our entire region. Governor Andy Beshear announced Knox County is getting thousands of dollars to help with infrastructure repairs. The county is getting $180,000 in rural and municipal aid emergency funds. It is to help with 2 drainage projects that are happening because of the flooding. The repairs will enhance safety and help drainage in Sam's Branch and Smithview Ridge. Prestonsburg Mayor Les Stapleton was presented a RISE Award from the Kentucky League of Cities. RISE stands for Resilience, Impact, Service, and Encouragement. The award recognizes a person or elected official who steps up to serve cities in unparalleled ways. It's been a tough year for the city. Several police officers died during ambush nearly 3 months ago in late June, and then about 1 month later, the historic flooding. Mayor Stapleton says, quote, winning the RISE Award is an illustration of what happens when a city works together, end quote.
6:10 this morning. Don't forget, a quick reminder that the city of Hazard, or it's the city of Hazard, is it the water system city of Hazard? Yeah, it's still under a boil water advisory this morning. That's not been lifted yet, so just kind of keep that in mind. Let's go into the temperatures as we head out the door. We're looking at some of those in the 30s this morning, including Irvin, Jonesville, and Jacksboro, and then we see again 40s and 50s across the rest of the region. So warmer than this time yesterday. 64 Myrtle Beach, just north of where Ian is expected to come back into and make a second landfall a little bit later today. 53 in Charlotte, 53 in Memphis, 57 in Atlanta and Washington, D.C., but a lot of 40s inland there as we head back into the Midwest and the plains out there. 69 this afternoon, right around 5 o'clock, so a warmer day than yesterday, but still not on the warm side. I think we see those 70s and 80s a thing of the past. Well, let's say 80s and 90s a thing of the past there for quite some time. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you so much. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, some of the healthy foods you buy on your trip to the grocery store may not be that healthy after all. We'll have the reason why in just a few minutes.